Hey, this is Brian Elaine from CrowdScribed, and this is 6.5 Questions with Scott McClellan. Is it Scott Andrew McClellan?
Close. It's Scott Patrick McClellan. So you
Okay.
were you were
I
close.
had the number of syllables right.
Yeah, that's right.
That's about it. Scott is the author of Tell Me a Story, which released earlier in 2013. Scott, thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right, let's jump right in. Question number one. Before we talk about your book, let's talk about writing a little bit. What are your ideal writing conditions?
Um, my ideal writing conditions are if I can control the sound.
Okay.
So TV blaring or anything like that. For me, it's if I can have my headphones in and I can control the soundtrack. Probably that and not being exhausted. Like I've never been an all-nighter kind of person,
Hmm.
college and beyond. So not being too exhausted either at 5 in the morning or at midnight, that works for me somewhere in between.
Can you listen to music with lyrics in your headphones and still write?
I can't listen to hip hop because
Okay.
of the sheer number of lyrics. So it kind of has to be mellow music for me.
Okay.
Um, Bon Iver, anything kind of acoustic folky maybe,
Bon
which is not all
Iver.
I listen to, but
Yeah.
it just can't be over the top.
So Bon Iver, Bonnie Raitt, those two
Those
both
two,
be
that's
okay.
right. I'll just ping pong between those two.
Question number two. Being that this was your first traditionally published book, what surprised you most about the process?
I think the biggest thing was that it wasn't done when it was done.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is I worked on my manuscript for 7 months and it, just about killed me. But then you're not done.
Yeah.
You got to write, bonus content and a discussion guide and all these guest posts for people's blogs, and you got to keep your blog going. And it's almost like, hey, congrats on finishing that marathon. Hop over here on the 10K, and just, I mean, that should be a piece of cake, right? Now that you've finished a marathon. And I was not prepared for that at all.
Hmm.
I really wanted to be done with writing for quite a bit and
Yeah.
just decompress. But there was so much more to do. And I honestly probably didn't do a great job of it because I had my heart set on taking a break.
Question number three. Of all the parts of writing a book, kind of, the first draft, blank page thing versus major edits or minor edits, what part of that book writing process gives you the most energy?
Um,
Or is it
you
all
know,
gravy?
it to, no, to me, it was the early part of writing the first draft when I could bounce around. I didn't write my book like chronologically front to back.
Okay.
I wrote on whatever inspired me that day and whatever thought I'd been chewing on or whatever thread I felt like running down. And for the first couple of months, I had the freedom and flexibility to do that. Then I had to start focusing. But being able to say, man, here's the story I want to tell today, or here's the thought I want to explore today, that gave me a ton of energy.
Question number four. Of the last 10 books that you've purchased, about how many do you think were digital versus print?
It would be for me 100% digital.
Wow.
I don't purchase print books anymore. I love reading on my iPad. I love syncing so that I can pick it up on my phone if I'm standing in line at the DMV or whatever, which I do once every 5 years, so that comes in handy. Um, Great feature.
Yes.
I love the highlights,
Okay.
that kind of thing, and even being able to search when I was writing my book and going, man, I know there was a sentence from this book that I want to use in a paper book. I maybe never would have been able to find it, but
Yeah.
on the Kindle app on my laptop, not only can I search for it, I can copy and paste from the Kindle app right into my manuscript with a quick. It automatically puts a citation in there. So I love Kindle app, Kindle books. That's kind of my thing.
Okay. Question number five. Other than your book, is there another book that you've read over the past year that maybe you think we should too?
I think everybody should read Daring Greatly by Brene Brown.
Okay.
She calls herself a shame researcher and talks a lot about what shame is, what shame means in the human experience, and also what it means to move beyond that, start putting yourself out there, and and that's not just it is a very personal, emotional thing, but it's also if you want to write something great, if you want to start your own company, you're going to have to deal with shame or this fear of being judged and this fear of being vulnerable. And I love the title, Daring Greatly, because ultimately that's what I think we all want to do, but it's about finding the capacity to actually do that. So I would absolutely recommend that. She's got some great TED Talks if you want to dabble in that first, but Brene Brown is her name.
I'm just glad that I finally got that pronunciation down. I thought it was, I didn't know if it was Bren or Breeny or what.
Breen, yeah, yeah. It should maybe come with a pronunciation guide on the in the book jacket or something. Yeah.
And since you have just become the pronunciation expert here for CrowdScribed, can we
Mm.
get an official pronunciation on the word that's spelled M-E-M-E?
It is meme.
It is meme.
It's
Okay.
meme. As far as I have heard and have been taught, it is meme.
Question number 6. If you could give one piece of advice to a wannabe author out there who's maybe been blogging or writing for a while and really hopes to get published, what advice would you give them?
As simple as it sounds, I would say the wannabe label is self-imposed.
Okay.
There is absolutely nothing stopping you but you, and I mean I'm dealing with that having finished a first book. Maybe I'm a wannabe second-time author right now,
Sure.
but it can happen. It can happen if you could find an hour a day. All you have to do is string together enough days. If you can write, if you can blog, if you can put thoughts on paper, drop the wannabe label and do it. And that's oversimplified maybe, but don't wait for an invitation, don't wait for permission, don't wait for a contract. Just do it.
Final question. Question number 7. Sports team you love the most?
It is the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
I love them the most, and connected to that, they hurt me the most, and so that's how that goes. That's how life works.
And
That's
let's
why I read a book about shame.
Oh, because I want to go on the record now as saying that the Tony Romo fumbled snap against Seattle in the playoffs. If you watch that, I hate to bring it up, but if you watch that highlight, that ball is so shiny. I swear that ball is covered in paraffin wax or something. I just think
Mm.
something's up. I don't know. Have you ever noticed that?
The Seahawks crew may have done it. I did not watch that game live. I was listening to that game on the radio at a deer hunting camp in South Texas, about 45 minutes from the Texas-Mexico border, and could not envision in my mind what had happened based on the radio call
Wow.
that fateful night.
You can find Scott online at scottlikes.com. You can get information about his book there. And to connect with readers and authors, find great books, and even publish one of your own, you can visit crowdscribe.com. Thanks for your time, Scott.
Thanks, Brian.